talking Big Sean Detroit 2 album review tonight. What's going on, Coop? We got Coop in the building. I'm Mike D, recording the Hip Hop Live. Happy Friday.
Good. How was everybody? Yeah. Peace to everybody.
Man, doing great,
God
man.
bless everybody this Friday.
It's always great to have new music on a Friday. And honestly, this is a really good one, man. Big Sean actually came through, man. I know we were talking about last week. The Lox dropped a very impressive album. And the week before that, Nas dropped an impressive album as well. What are you thinking about this Big Sean off of first listen?
First thoughts were, it was like, I guess Hit Boy, I think with this album, put himself right next to Alchemist for Producer of the Year honor so far. Wouldn't you say?
I would say so.
That.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I would say so. This is an impressive production job, and most of the impressive things done by Hit Boy. And when you look at what he just did on Nas's album, and you look at what he did on this album, and these are two of the best albums we've heard this year. I think Hit Boy deserves some recognition, and I think Sean may have arguably made his best piece of work yet. So those are my two big takeaways. This is probably Hit Boy's year, possibly to be like Producer of the Year and maybe get like that notoriety that the other greats have gotten. And I also think it might be Big Sean's best album. And I think it's his transition album because I think I don't hear any big monster singles on here, but I hear a really well-crafted record and somebody that's 10 years in the game and seasoned and knows what he's doing.
I don't think Big Sean gets enough credit when you talk about the echelon of individuals in his class. I mean, because, again, with the album, the production really stood out for me. I think that the rhymes really stood out, too, because, you know, he was really coming with subject matter, content. He was coming with flow. Yes. He was coming with... Yes. It was just a well-put-together project, and not to mention the features. And you know what? The one song I really didn't love was that Cypher. What did you think about that Friday Night Cypher?
It's a mixed bag because it's roughly 8 minutes long.
It's like 10 minutes long,
so that's like the equivalent. So that's the equivalent of like 4 songs.
Well, you know what? Hold on. While we're talking about that stuff, man, let's go to the track list. Do you got the track list in front of you?
It's not far away.
Well, yeah, I'll put it up on the screen for everybody here. Welcoming everybody into the room. With the track list right here, let us know what's your favorite song on the album so far. I actually liked, me personally, I think I was telling you this earlier, I liked Full Circle a lot. You know what I'm saying? I like that.
I'm a fan. Yeah.
I actually liked ZTFO too.
Lithuania with Travis Scott.
Lithuania with Travis Scott. Well, I like did the other song have Travis Scott on it and they didn't credit him? The ZTFO?
That was, I'm not sure. I mean, it's early. I mean, we haven't even had a full day. Well, I've listened to it a couple times. I've never listened to a Big Sean album twice in one day. And like, I actually listened to it because I was actually like impressed the first time. And I wanted to make sure that what I heard was like clear. Anderson .Paak strikes again.
Yeah.
With I guess the rappers getting their love feelings out song. You know,
the Anderson .Paak song was dope. Real. Yeah.
The Guard Your Heart, and then Nas is All Bad. Those are two of the best songs this year. They're two of the best rap love songs I've heard in a while, Mike.
You know what?
Because
going back to the track list, love. I did like Everything That's Missing featuring Dwell A. And I did like Body Language with Ty Dolla $ign and Janae. I can never say her name.
Janae Aiko.
Aiko, that's it, yeah. But yeah.
Janae Aiko.
And yeah, to go back to the track list, also, let's see. I like how it ended with Still I Rise featuring Dom Kennedy. I mean, this album features... You know, stories by Stevie Wonder, stories by Erykah Badu, stories by Dave Chappelle, and it features Nipsey, features Post Malone. Go ahead.
Can I tell you something that struck me before I even listened to the album? It was like, when I just looked at the fact that he got Dave Chappelle, Erykah Badu, and Stevie Wonder to tell a story on his album that, you know, kind of referenced him or Detroit in a manner, it made me think, like, have I been underrating Sean that he was able to get these people just to speak on his album? and speak about it. Like all the stories are great when you're listening to them too. Like Dave Chappelle with the whole connection to Big Sean's dad.
Yeah.
Of course, I mean Stevie Wonder literally having inner visions about him about to make it big. Erykah Badu, like, you know, like kind of sideways slick talking shit like I'm from the other D, you know.
Yeah.
Like it's a very well put together album, and the fact that he was able to put all these people together and kind of piece it together properly. I mean, it's an impressive job, Mike. Like what I have this question for you after listening to it a couple times.
Yeah.
What albums have you heard this year that are better?
I mean, it's funny you say that. I think we're gonna go to the usual suspects, the Pray for Paris, and I was about to actually ask you a question about just for this era. Do you think this album's too long? Right? And see, that's what makes this album very difficult to compare with other albums that came out this year because of the length. And because that it's like 20 something records. And Big Sean said something the other day. I guess someone asked him about not being included in that Kanye 7 songs thing. And he said that basically that, you know, he just didn't want to rock like that. And after listening to this album, it makes sense. At first, you know, it kind of came like some shade, like, but it wasn't. But after you hear that he came with a 22 track record and it was this concise and this dope, I guess he had more to say than what 7 songs could actually get you from Big Sean. So to say, I say top 3 right now. And I know it's crazy. It's early. We just got the album like, you know, 24 hours ago. But I think that it's put together very well in the way that Game's Born to Rap was.
I didn't think I thought Born to Rap was well put together, but that was what was good about Born to Rap. Born to Rap wasn't as good as this, in my opinion, actually. But here's what I will tell you. So let's unpack a couple of things about the length. First of all, it's 22 songs. One of those songs technically is a bonus track of sorts of video accompaniment, so it's down to 21 tracks.
Okay.
You take the Chappelle Badu.
Let me get back to the track list.
We're at 18 tracks. Now let's look at how many tracks he actually has by himself. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 songs by himself.
Are you counting songs with singing hooks too, or are you just counting like songs where he carried the verses and hooks?
I'm talking about songs where he's like, you know, 75 to 90% of what the track consists of.
Okay.
And so that would be about 6 songs, and even a couple of those songs that I'm talking about, Mike, like he had some help on those too. But that goes. You know what it feels like to me? It feels very Volume 2-ish.
Yeah. Like, you had a problem with Volume 2 having the features that it did? Because I think
in the sense that, well, my problem with Volume 2 at the time is that I thought it was overrated in the sense that I thought that album was literally doing just what was hot at the time, Mike.
Jay-Z's Life and Times Volume 2, by the way, for everybody that's out there. Yeah.
When you do what's hot for the time, I mean, you're going to sell a lot of records and you might hit it big, but you might be dated. When I listen to Volume 2 now, it's like a lot of those songs sound dated, Mike.
Now, you know what? That's an interesting...
And the songs that stay with you are the songs where they're actually rapping their ass off. Like Reservoir Dogs has held up better than most of the songs on that project, but that's because everybody's on there rhyming their ass off, going crazy. Like Can I Get A and Money Cash Hoes haven't held up as well. Like, nigga, what? Yeah. Nigga, who has? But Jay and Jaz-O are rapping their ass off on that track, right?
But you know what? It still feels like a time capsule, and that's an interesting point you put out there. I don't know what the longevity of this album would be like because it's so feature heavy. And like you said, when you're feature heavy on an album, that's more so about what's going on at the time. Like, you know, I mean, no disrespect to any artists out there, but like, 5 years from now, how will we view Post Malone? Will it be one of those things like 5-10 years from now, like, remember Post Malone? Like, there was a time when Fred Durst was running the world, right? And so if you have your album where
Wow, and
Fred Durst is featured on there, it automatically dates your project. So when you're feature heavy with guys that are popping right now, it puts me in the mind where it's like I don't know what the legs are gonna be like on this album and the longevity. Right now, I feel like it has replay value based on what I'm hearing.
Oh, you want to know it, Mike? Mike, you make a valid point. As I'm pulling up this track list, it's like all these guys are very much relevant. Here what was impressive about the All Detroit Cypher song. First of all, he pointed out some very good talent like Boldy James from Griselda. Like, he's dropped 2 dope projects this year. It was good to hear him like get some love, like outside of being pushed outside of Griselda. That means like Sean's paying attention to his community and even like what's going on in the streets, even though he may not always be tabbed as a guy that comes to you for those types of records. And what else is brilliant about that record is that he knew that record was going to be long, and that he knew that in order to hold you, that it was literally going to be a situation where Royce and Eminem were going to have to go last to hold your attention, and that's exactly what he did.
Because you're going to be waiting for Eminem. Yeah.
He held Detroit's 2 best MCs ever to the end of an All Detroit song, which is what you're supposed to do, even if it's your song.
Well,
smart move.
Speaking of looking out for the community, we do have a Black Business Break. Go ahead, and we're basically our Black Business Break. We're going to be promoting Black businesses in our community that are out here doing their thing. And who we got this week, Coop?
I mean, this week we're going to talk about Lorraine Bryant Candle Company. I'm a big candle and wax melt lover, Mike. Like, I love aromas and incense. Like, I kind of get that from my mother. I was raised by women. They all love candles. So the woman who actually is one of the people who started this company and the founder, Sharon and I went to middle school together. We have not seen each other since 8th grade, Mike, or spoken since 8th grade. But we actually reconnected because of, according to hip hop, because she shot me a line when her and her fiance saw one of our podcasts.
Oh, wow.
And so
that's what's up. Shout out to them.
Yeah, shout out to them. So she started the company, and she got into candle making about 10 years ago because she's a big candle lover. She kind of fell off on it, you know how life happens, Mike. She just stopped doing it for a while. She picked it back up about a year ago. She's based in Louisiana right now, but they're headed back to North Carolina soon. I bought these candles and these wax melts that she has off of Shopify, but she's also on Facebook and Instagram. And once again, that's Lorraine Bryant Candle Company. But she like, Sharon literally loves candles. She says she's literally might be an addict. She takes candles with her, like when her and her fiance like go on vacations and stuff and like all that, so she can like burn candles in the hotel room. I'm going to tell you something though, Mike, in all honesty, highly impressed with the product. Currently burning the wax melts behind me right now. Have been burning the Black Sea candle. Looking forward to the Sea Minerals and the Peach Nectar wax melts. It's 100% coconut soy wax. The packaging, the put together, the expediting of the shipping that her and her family did was wonderful. I'm highly impressed. I'm not going to any more stores to buy any candles again, because now it's time more than ever to support Black business, especially Black business when it's done right. Sharon and her people are doing it right. So you can find Lorraine Bryant Candle Company on Shopify, Facebook, and Instagram. I have 2 more hip-hop stories that are related kind of to close it out. Her favorite MC is Andre 3000.
Oh,
so
wow.
She has good hip-hop taste as well. And I'm going to tell you exactly why I remember Sharon too, Mike, because it's hip-hop related. She's the one that let me know that Biggie was versatile and that I needed to open my ears to his more radio-friendly records. We were at the bus stop one day in fucking 8th grade, Mike. She was playing Big Papa. I was reading the sports page, and I was telling her, I was like, how is he going to pull that off? Like, after Give Me the Loot and Machine Gun Funk and his whole appearance, his whole look, Who Shot You and all that. And she was like, no. Let him do his thing. It's going to work for him.
He's
Why
versatile.
Can't he do both?
Yeah.
So she was the first person to really open me up to Biggie's versatility, because I was wondering how he was going to pull it off. And so it's just funny that we've reconnected through recording the hip hop. Shout out to her and her family. Shout out to QC, Charlotte, North Carolina, striking again, because she is Charlotte, born and bred. And
that's our Black Business Break. Shout out, man. And hip hop bringing people together. Gotta love it.
Right.
JJ Ryder
Literally
says
never seen
it's
each
a
other
let.
since we were 14 or talk.
I'm reading some of the comments. JJ Thought Writer says it's a letdown. Detroit was a masterpiece. He should have named it something else. It doesn't come close to part one. It's his worst album of his career. But you know what? That's
Oh,
the thing.
hold on. Where is he from? Because you want to know what? I
Jay,
mean,
where you
you
from?
know some
Tell us where
Detroit
you
people
from.
too, Mike. I know. I mean, yeah, a lot of Detroit people, I've already got the vibe. Like Detroit don't like the Detroit 2 album because they like Detroit so much. But Detroit is a mixtape, correct?
Yep.
This is an album, correct?
Well, maybe
So
he
like the
shouldn't
whole,
have made a
I
sequel
mean,
to a mixtape and album.
the artistic space from mixtape to album is totally different. Like my favorite two Jeezy albums, Mike, are Trap or Die and Trap or Die 2, but that's because it's just Jeezy getting the go, you know,
Well,
no industry standards.
I mean, again, we could get into the conversation. What's the difference between a album and a mixtape in today's time?
It's a big
And
difference.
I really don't.
Big difference.
I
Big difference.
I don't know what the difference is
I mean,
anymore.
you
Honestly,
don't know what the difference is?
what's
Mike,
the difference?
Mike, how about this? Pray for Paris is an album. All the Hitlers Wear Hermes series are mixtapes. Yeah.
Why though?
That's the difference.
Why exactly?
It's the vibe. It's the I don't have any verified really qualified.
I guess
right now,
that's what
Mike,
I'm
so
saying.
not
It's like it's hard to really say because at the end of the day, when you got original music,
No.
it's original music. Like I feel what you're saying. You could tell when something's being made.
I know you get what I'm saying, Mike. Yeah.
I know you could tell when something's made with a mixtape mentality and something's made with the album commercial mentality, but there's no way that we could sit there and say, okay, because all right, it used to be a little bit more defined, right? Where a mixtape was something where you were rhyming over somebody else's beats. It wasn't really original music. But when mixtapes started to evolve into original beats, original concepts, all new everything, what makes them different than albums? Because people still debate. I've seen even on our platform, I've seen Section 80 be a mixtape and an album. It all depends on what Wikipedia says it is. Why is it?
It's a mixtape.
Why is it a mixtape?
It's put together like a mixtape. Like, okay.
Why is it a mixtape? Okay. I mean, really, I want to know. Like, why is Section 80 a mixtape? What makes Section 80 different from Damn?
Like, listen to what you're saying. Like, Damn and Section 80 are sequenced and put together like so much differently. Like there's something about a mixtape that's kind of uncut and raw and kind of choppy in how it's pieced together. Like the best mixtapes to me actually have like album stuff and just like street stuff over like blended in, plus beats that are taken. It's like all the three when it's really a great mixtape. I feel Kendrick is so great that mixtape sounds like an album. Like, how about that?
I mean, it's funny, man, because I was listening to Down with the King. I think we were talking about that. We might have talked about that last week. But Down with the King, T.I.'s Down with the King, the Gangsta Grill.
Oh,
the one where he was going and flip.
ASAP that same day.
So, he threw You Don't Know Me on there before Urban Legend came out. And he had My Life on there with Daz and all that stuff. And he mixed in stuff where he was rhyming over other people's beats. That's what, to me, that's definitively a mixtape. But when you got all original stuff, it's like Big Crit. He's made a career of making mixtapes, basically. But they were albums. And like the stuff that he's held high for are technically mixtapes. And I really think he's done himself a disservice because those should be considered albums. That's a whole nother subject.
What do you think? What do you think? What do you think Trap or Die and Trap or Die 2 are, Mike? Do you think they're albums or do you think they're mixtapes? I mean, is Trap or Die 2 a mixtape because Cannon's shouting all over it? Like,
well, I mean, he's like, rhyming over other people's beats too, and that's a really good example right here, JJ. Ooh, I mean, he's talking about what about soul tapes?
There's a lot of original material on Trap or Die 2, Mike.
What about soul tapes though? What about Fabulous Soul Tape series? Are those albums? Or are those mixtapes? See, that's when it gets blurry, man. Like,
That's their fault, Mike. I know what I'm talking about.
well, I don't think. All right, getting back to Big Sean, I don't think it was a good idea for Big Sean to make a sequel of a mixtape album and make it with the album mentality. And if he was going to do that, he should have made it with that same mixtape mentality. But I feel him. He tried to level up on the sequel, but when you do a sequel, people are gonna find reasons not to like it. And
I mean, Mike, I'm. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say, I do agree with the fact that maybe he should have called it something else, so that this piece of work could live on its own.
I do agree too, because I'm influenced by what I hear in the streets and just from people from areas where they're from. Because I'm fortunate enough to just know a lot of people and be connected to a lot of people from a lot of different areas, and so it's hard for me to say that that album can be a top 5 album this year when the people from Detroit aren't necessarily vibing to it, and it's called Detroit too. And I've heard some people from Detroit already, even like within today, that are kind of like,
Yeah,
eh,
yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, I like this
You know,
comment here.
and that
Andre.
matters. That matters. Go ahead, gotta
Andre
love your
says
shit.
that the Fly God mixtape, but arguably West Side Gun's best work, in my opinion. That
What, Fly
definitely
God
had the
2?
album feel.
What, Fly God 2?
I think he's talking about Fly God. What, the one that just came out?
You talking about Fly God 2, right? Not
What?
1.
No, that was three,
One's
right?
actually one of his. Yeah, Fly God 1 is actually one of his weaker projects.
Yeah, man. I mean, all right. Do you still say "Pray for Paris" is album of the year? Is that where we're at right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, that's the yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, and see,
We're
that's the
still
thing,
there.
man.
I
Like,
actually, oh,
I think on
Mike,
paper, Big Sean. Go ahead.
I'm rap artists that talk the way Westside and Griselda talk rarely put a project together that sounds as beautiful as Pray for Paris. It's rare that the edginess comes together in a manner where it still sounds beautiful. That's why I told you, like when I heard No Vacancy, Mike, like when it started off when he did the whole skit and then went into No Vacancy, like the beat is beautiful and then he starts talking the way he's talking and he made it work. And I'm like, oh shit, if he keeps making that work through this whole album, it's gonna be a classic. And then George Bondo comes in, I'm like, yeah, this about the he done found his zone. And it's beautiful in that manner, and it's hard for a gangster, I guess, or somebody who talks about prison or drugs and jail and prison in the manner that Westside and Griselda do. It's hard for them, for artists like that, to craft something that's beautiful. Pray for Paris is beautiful. Like Alfredo is rugged. Like Cuban Links is rugged. Hell Hath No Fury, rugged. The Chronic, rugged. It's rare that somebody that talks the way they talk make something beautiful. When I mean beautiful, Mike, I mean beautiful like in the way that Aquemini, To Pimp a Butterfly, the Low End Theory are put together and it
No, I feel
sounds
you.
beautiful.
Well, Andre has a question: Detroit 2 or King's Disease?
I was waiting for somebody to ask that. So when I listened to the album, and it seems funny to say this, I had more fun listening to Hit Boy's beats on Nas's album, not because it's Nas, but because Nas got Hit Boy out of his zone. With Big Sean, he's more in his zone, so it's really about which Hit Boy you prefer, and that's why I think he deserves some I'm sorry, not album, but producer of the year consideration, because he pulled off both jobs so well. I mean, Nas is just a better MC, and the album is more concise. And I never thought that I'd say this. I think Nas may have more bangers on his project than Big Sean, which is crazy to say. But when I listen
Really?
to Spicy and 27 Summers, I'm like, there's nothing on Sean's album that rides like those two records. Am I wrong?
Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna be
Maybe with
honest. I like the production of Hit Boy on this Big Sean album a little bit better. Um,
okay.
I think at the
I mean,
moment, and
that's
I know
fair.
it's a new record. I think right now I probably would replay some of the Big Sean records first. Um, I don't know. I mean, again, it's tough to say which
How
one.
about this? I think how you may feel about the albums respectively may actually be found in how you feel about the Anderson .Paak records respectively. I think Nas's Anderson .Paak record is a little bit better, and that's how I feel about the albums. So it's like where I would probably have, King's Disease like third, fourth-ish right now. I would probably have Detroit like six-ish.
Well, we got
like
another.
Not a big gap though, which I think for Big Sean, when I'm talking about Nas making the best album that he's made over in a decade, and then Big Sean making something that is comparable to it, that's
high
impressive
praise
to me.
I mean,
Right.
and piggybacking off
The
of
fact
that,
we're having the discussion, you get what I'm saying? The
Right.
fact that we're having the discussion means he just did his job. Yeah.
well, to piggyback off of that, we got a question in the room. Is King's Disease a top 5 Nas album? That's from Mavani.
You want to know what? It's borderline because it's staying with me in a way that a lot of his albums that have great material but are spotty in terms of the consistency don't, because
Godson, right?
After about 3 or 4 listens, Mike, I have it somewhere about 6 or 7. And to be honest with Mike, if Nas is not on I Am, it's like it's not even a question if it's like better than I Am, like truthfully.
You know what?
So
I didn't know I Am was the one in question. I personally think the album is better than I Am. I Am has a lot of misses.
So hold on, Mike. I mean, like, we're with Illmatic. It was written in the Lost Tapes, right? And then Stillmatic, right? That's 4, right?
Yeah.
So the question,
Godson is the one.
So the question is this better than Godson or I Am, right? And Godson has Made You Look, and I Am has Nas's Like. So it's like
we're talking about albums though, because that's the thing. I think that those albums have a lot of misses. I think
those are arguably 2 of his 10 best songs, Mike.
I know, but Godson, it doesn't have as many misses as I Am does, but
it doesn't.
But it has some, and I think that the debate really for 5, in my opinion, is Godson or King's Disease. But if someone picked Godson off of the strength of I Can,
if we're being objective to the consistency of the music, and not like what I was talking about, like those. How about this? There are none of those Barry Sanders like runs on King Disease like there are on Godson or on I Am. But if we're talking about consistency of the project, it is probably going to go down as 5th, Mike. So yes, it's going to go down as his 5th best project.
Okay.
Because you're going to be able to play this project consistently more than Godson. Mike, I can't front. When I go to Godson, it's like I got to hear Get Down. I got to hear Made You Look. And then we'll see how I'm feeling. When I get to I Am, it's like I got to hear Nas's Like. I got to hear Favor for a Favor in Small World. And then we'll see how I'm feeling.
All right, well, Jay here has Illmatic. It was written Godson, Stillmatic, Lost Tapes. I'm not mad at that.
No, I mean the first 10 songs on Stillmatic are better than like I Am and Godson, like period. So
no, we do have a special guest today. We have Arie out of Bali, and he's a hip hop artist, and we'll have him.
Arie Dixon.
Yeah, Arie Dixon. You know what? Let me go ahead and. You think they're ready for us to go ahead and chime them in?
Yeah.
Are we chiming in Arie and Boulay or?
La Femme Bouet.
Are we chiming in both at the same time or just one?
Go ahead and chime both of them in. I believe they're both ready.
Well, let's do it.
They both handled all business for the day.
Right.
Hold on. In her case, mid-afternoon because she's in Cali. In his case, morning because he's in Bali. Yeah, we everywhere.
Yeah. Let's see. Boom. We'll go ahead and get them added into the room. But yeah, at this point, what are you giving?
Hold on. Mike, you said no, Mike. Before we call them in, you said you had Detroit at 3rd, so I know we still agree about Pray for Paris. What's your number 2? Is Alfredo number 2 for you too?
I'm thinking Alfredo. I'm still giving Alfredo yeah.
Hey, I played Alfredo when I was on the South Side with the Yardies. We were trading music off. I played Alfredo for them, but we'll get into that.
Yo, we got Arie in the building. What's up, man?
Talented individuals.
Aha.
Oh, we got everybody
What
in the
up,
building.
beautiful people?
What's going on?
What's going on?
Pete,
No.
Pete, Kings and Queens.
Hi guys, how are you today?
Hey, Pete. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Peace to you.
Happy Saturday, correction.
Yes.
Right. Happy
No.
Saturday.
Oh, yeah.
No one cares, Arie. We know it's Saturday.
Yeah. Good morning to you out in Bali. All right. Sorry. Happy Saturday to you, brother. Yes. Right. So, I mean, so let's go ahead and dig in. Like, we talked to Tasha and already interviewed her about what she's doing, pretty much promoting artists and allowing artists awareness and allowing them to do what they do. Tasha, I want you to kind of speak to that again and kind of like introduce Arie, because he's pretty much the first person that you have in the queue for the platform for what you're building out. So I kind of would love it if you would do his introduction and explain what you're doing for artists again and how this is all coming together. And then we'll kind of like get into the whole thing with Arie and his new project and the video and the music, which is all stellar.
Okay. All right, cool. Yeah. So, Sir Arie Dixon is here. Armand, you and we've talked so long about Arie prior to the release and everything that he had going on. And, a lot of what I have built with this machine and this system that we've created for artists, is a strategic marketing platform that allows artists to come in and not only promote their projects, but to create content that surrounds their beliefs around their music and what they actually think it should be doing. For a long time, and I know you and I talk about this all the time, Ahmad, record labels didn't have artist development, so artists weren't able to actually figure out where they live and who their fans are and who are the people that's really interested in what they have going on.
Right.
And my business partner, Michael, and I, we spent some time really, really just researching this formula, obviously because I'm an artist myself. And when I would release music, I would be looking to these guys and paying these platforms and trying all these different ways to promote that really didn't get me to the levels that I really saw myself being at. So in turn, I created a system. Arie is the first person in the system. He is smoking hot, not looks, right? No pun. But he is a fire spitter. He's a dragon. This guy understands sound. He's creatively in tune, and that was a major part and a major cataclysmic part for me on why I chose to do business with Arie. He edits his own videos. People have no idea when they're looking at this stuff that he's the one that's actually putting the brain power and the artistic power behind creating this stuff. Wow. So that was really, really attractive to me, not to mention, obviously, all the jewelry he's wearing is made by him in Bali, all custom everything. He just had some really interesting things to bring to the table from a business, narrative. And I feel like now we're actually able to start having some conversations around that. So here he is, Mr. Dixon, guys.
Hello.
I mean, that's a hell of an intro. I mean,
right? Damn. Shout out Tasha.
Yeah, always. Arie, so tell me a little bit about your musical path, like, where you're from, how you got started, who inspires you, what inspired this project, how the hell you ended up in Bali on a Saturday morning talking to a coordinator, all those.
Word. I'm from New York, born in Brooklyn, raised Beacon, New York, upstate. Shout out to 845, shout out Dutchess County. I started music officially, meaning like recording and all that stuff, around 14 years old. It all started with like one of my best friends at the time, who's like, it was a little bit before that, way before that actually, when you're like kids, and you're like, hey man, you want to rap? Like, you don't even know what that means. You're like, okay, because it's just free time. And then it kind of sparked itself into finding kind of, I guess, hidden talent that I had. And then around 14 years old, when I started officially recording, hop in that process. As growing up, I always assumed that everybody was creating their stuff off the rip. Like when I was younger, like, so when I heard a song, I just assumed the artist did all of it. So then that's kind of how I got into like production and recording myself and all of that, because, someone gave me a studio price and I was like, for one song? And then, you know what I mean? And then I was like, how much is the equipment? And they were like, wanted the song, and I was like, I'm gonna get the equipment. So then,
how old were you when you hold on, Ari? How old were you when you made that decision?
Like 14.
Oh, so this is 14 when you're like already thinking to yourself like, oh, I need to be doing this myself.
Yeah, it did. Well, because it starts out with like I have an idea in my head, right? And you hear these sounds, and you want to just get it out. So then in the beginning, you go to like this producer, and you're trying to get it out of him through, that whole process, like through you, through him. And then, stuff starts kind of like not working out. It's like when you're recording, right? 50% of it is an idea, the other 50% you kind of got to lend to like, I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen. And then so, things were just kind of not like coming out the way I thought, and it was just a time sensitive thing. Like it's taking, this long for me to get these drums out of my head and give them to you because I don't know how to use your equipment. That feeling. And then obviously you're being charged. And then so in that process, you're like, so if we finish this song and I don't like it, I got to go back in there and keep paying this thing just to fix this song? And then let alone do another one, right? And I'm like, and you know how many times, if you're an artist, then there's things you scrap, right? There's things you're like, I'll come back to this later, right? So like, imagine you're paying for that. You're paying for that option, like, so I just paid $2,000 for I'll come back to this later. Like, that's crazy. So my mind just went into that space. To me, it was kind of like a no-brainer. Plus, up where I was from, we didn't really have too many like big studios like that. So it was kind of like either, this is what we either come to this guy all the time or figure it out.
So you figured it out?
Yeah, something like it.
Yeah. No. Trust me. We've heard your music. You figured it out.
Bless. Well, yeah, so like it turned into that, and it wasn't until like I got around a little deeper in the industry itself, maybe a year or change later, where people started, asking like, who produced this? Who did so and so? And I'm like, I did. And I just then started finding out that like majority of the industry hires people for these things. But like when I see a painting, I'm not like, so who painted the red? So it made sense as I got into it. But like coming up, it was just like, I thought this is how it works. So I figured I kind of was able to step into that space energetically and have like at least the tools to be able to get my thoughts out, right? To even know if they're going to be good thoughts. And then you just kind of keep creating from there for kind of like the rest of, like during the rest of your whole life, I guess you could say. And things come a lot easier, to produce or to record or to mix or to master or to all that stuff. And you don't have to keep outsourcing that part. So that was like around like 14, 16 years old. Yeah, then
you're kind of like a hip hop. So you're kind of like hip hop, like Prince or Stevie Wonder with it. Like you're composing, arranging, engineering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All that.
Yeah, that's
down to the video and how and the schematics of how you want it to go.
Yeah. Yeah, because I kind of see it like even when I create music, I see a whole scene before the song's done. I have to see the scene before I can make the words and vibes. I have to feel before I can feel it.
Okay.
So ironically, a lot of songs come with videos already before even me finishing, right?
Because I know the video that we have is Big Shot, right? Like, where did that come from? Like, can you speak to that or speak to that concept?
Yeah, it was kind of simple in a weird way. I was just sitting around and I was like, I want to shoot this video where I'm walking down the street and it feels like I'm kind of controlling the ether energetically. And then I kind of knew like the simple way to like to film it actually.
Hold on. You said controlling the ether energetically?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure I'm there with you. No. We just want to stay with you.
My bad.
No, I mean, when you said that, I'm thinking about what's going on in the video, and I'm like, well, yeah, that's actually like a good like description of like the video itself. So you were in a frame of mind of like energy, ether, explosion, like with the whole concept. But so where did Big Shot come from? Was that like a literal thing? Like Big Shot is like maybe like a big atomic shot, or like, you know, because you're hitting a couple of levels with it.
So part of that was actually really organic. Which always happens to me. You play music around, and I'll just start mumbling shit. This is how I record too. We play a beat. Like the first half is just me mumbling and saying stuff, and then shit sticks, and then I'm running with it.
Right.
And then a good friend of mine, there's a producer group called like Jazz Beats, Amar and Chris. They lived like around the corner from me in Brooklyn. I was just over at his house. I had already recorded a bunch of records already, and then we just wanted to collaborate and just work with each other just to see what happens. And he started playing that beat. And it was cool because it was not a type of beat that I would step in and completely make. And it felt good because I was collaborating and jumping that place. But he was just playing shit. He was just playing shit. And then it came on, and I'm just like walking around and mumbling and shit. And then all of a sudden, those words came out. I don't even, like, the hook part into Big Shot. And I'm like, we looked at each other. I'm like, that shit kind of hard. He was like, that shit kind of hard. And I was like, I'm going to do that. So, that space. And
so real organic. So it was an organic studio session.
Yeah, that's how I like to work.
No, that's how it should be.
We don't know what's going to happen. Like, it goes back to that creative process. Like, you can plan 50%, but the other 50%, sometimes even more, you got to lend to, like, I don't know what the fuck's going to come out. But I'm down. You got to be down. You just got to be like, whatever happens, happens. Let's do it. That part.
So let's talk about your full-length project and where people can get it. I know, Tasha, it's on all streaming platforms, Tasha, correct?
No, not the complete project. Arie will be releasing his second single on the 18th of this month. We'll be releasing a single a month for the next 3 months. I'm really excited about the features and the way that we'll be exposing the videos. His next single is called There You Go. Really, really amazing record. Just really, really adds a little bit more insight to who Arie is and what he's standing for the hip-hop community and pushing his agenda, to consciousness and really believing in yourself and who you are. And I feel that as a conglomerate, that's what we do here. We are interested in pushing forth a narrative of people understanding that they can use their power to literally move the ether.
Right.
Literally what we're doing anyway. Yep.
So we want to go to the video?
Yeah, let's do it.
Introduce us to the video, yeah.
Word.
So
World.
Here we go.
Call the law. You can call the law, but you just showing off. The fact that you are a fraud's got you like, oh my god, cause a brother brought his dogs. Well, tell these pussy cat niggas it's a doggy dog world. Fuck it, call the law, but you just showing off. The fact we know you all the frauds got you like, oh my god, cause a brother brought his dogs. Well, tell the pussy cat niggas it's a doggy dog world. And all in all, we know it's all the sword. That's why the pussy scattered when they saw the dogs, had them like, oh my god, he brought his squad, call the law. Tell them pussy card niggas is the doggy dog world. All in all, we know you all a fraud, frontin' like a big shot, huh? Yeah, oh, you the big shot, huh? Oh, thought that you's a big shot, huh? Yeah, oh, you the big shot, It's easy to gloat, I mean, even leave it alone, cause what I am speaking is not meaning to weaken the blow. But your weak little soul is trying to get even with all of the things that you know. But yo, karma is cause and effect. So if you needed to know, you reap what you sow. Reap what you sow. Reap what you sow. Karma says cause and effect. My nigga, you need to let go. You reap what you sow. Redeem what you know. Effort, your purpose is ego should go. Heaven so evident deep in your soul. Blessings on blessings, the deeper you go. The deeper you go, but the deep in is cold. That's why you hating on me. Cause you feel out of love with yourself. Jealousy's bad for your health. I'm not gonna fuck with you hell, but fuckers can deal with call the law. But you just showing off. The fact we know you all the frauds got you like, oh my god, cause a brother brought his dogs. But tell a shit thinking you're going up, but your ego got your mind coming down. And Mr. Timberlake said it best, what goes around comes back around. Don't try to inspire, aspire, then you're inspired by acting now. Boy, that's profound. It's all action now, no time to be backing now. Gotta track the sound, sniff and scratch it out like a young black bastard hound. But your ass is drowning, stuck in a massive crowd, trying to ask around like who they gonna pass the crown down to. Man, that is how a nigga pass you now. Cause all along we've been walking around forgetting that we all are flawed. We got our guards on, so let's call a fraud and tell the pussycat niggas it's a doggy dog world. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up, call the law. But you just showing off the fact we know you all the frauds. Got you like, oh my God, cause a brother brought his dogs. Well, tell the pussycat niggas this is doggy dog world. And all in all, we know it's all the sword. That's why the pussycats scattered when they saw the dogs. Had them like, oh my God, he brought his squad. Call the law. Well, tell the pussycat niggas this is doggy dog world. All in all, we know you all a fraud. Frontin' like a big shot, huh? Yeah. Oh, you's a big shot, huh? Oh, thought that you's a big shot, huh? Yeah. Oh, you's a big shot, yeah.
Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, man. So I don't even know where to start. So you put together all of that.
This shit's special.
Yeah.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. For so many reasons.
No, everything y'all doing special.
Yeah. Yeah, that was awesome.
Like for real. Like the idea and like the concept of giving artists the space to actually do what they do to create is actually like a novelty now. It's taboo. It's not how things are. But look at what like happens when you let people like exist how they are. Okay, I'm gonna let it go. Here we go.
I mean, that's so well said, and I think that's also too, a major part of Arie's whole strategy. That video is one of 3 videos, as I said, but it's a 3-part series. So as you can tell, the way the video ends, it's obviously picking up somewhere else. So be sure to look out for that. And there you go, because that is definitely. I mean, I love all the records, and I go back and forth with him about this all the time about like which one is my favorite out of all of them. And I feel like in the beginning, I wasn't the person saying, "Oh my God, it's Big Shot." I wasn't saying that. I was saying it's in my zone. I'm cheerleading in my zone so much that I'm willing to throw off the synchronatic pattern because I just love it that much, right? But then I had to understand that just as an artist, Arie obviously took his time putting these pieces together a certain way, and I didn't want to impact his story. And so even as we went back and forth about it, by the time it got back to my partner, he was totally a Big Shot fan. The record's been getting really, really amazing reviews. We got some really dope things coming up. You guys may hear us on TV, you may hear us on commercials. There's some really, really big things pending with this record, but don't get so caught up in it because There He Go is coming. I think right now that is the first time I ever heard it, I cried. And it was just, it was a really, really touching video, not because of where he is. It's not really about the location. It's just about the love that's happening amongst the people. And what he's saying and the messaging about, who are you, me, I'm me, that really resonated with me, because when people look at you, sometimes they pass judgment. They don't really know what they're going to get. And obviously, Arie is an anomaly. I call him an avatar. He's like in cartoon world in my mind all the time because he's so authentically himself consistently. He doesn't ever allow anyone to shake that. And I think that that's what's really going to translate. And there you go. And I can't wait to get that over to you guys so we can definitely, share that with you guys and let you guys feature that. And, we just love the platform. We love that we get to come here and really just be ourselves and really, really shoot the shits about what's going on and how we did it.
That's what's up. We appreciate you guys coming through.
Yeah,
and that was a wonderful piece of work, for real. And I'm looking forward to seeing the rest of it.
Highly impressive piece of work. Looking forward to hearing more, doing more. I'm put y'all on the spot, like those of us who know both of you and have heard both of you are dying for both of you to like do something together. I hope that's in the works.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in Arie's. Arie's crazy, guys.
Arie, you pushing that like I'm pushing that?
Hey, it's in the queue, as Tasha was saying.
In the queue, right? Hey, yo, that's her thing. That's so fly too. I think I'm gonna take that, Arie. She's like, yeah, I got that in the queue next.
It's in the queue.
It is in the queue. It's in the queue.
Okay.
I'm actually working on getting some things together so that we can start working in that direction. Obviously I am a businesswoman outside of a creative, so I have to balance both worlds the way most executives have to do. And so that's essentially what I'm doing right now. My focus is really, really exposing Arie to the world because he's something near and dear to me. He's like my passion. I tell him all the time, I'm like, you're my passion project. Like, you're the thing that I really, really, truly believe in, that I know when I get this point across, I can take a step back and say, hey, you know what? Now I can really help people understand what it means when they say it's La Femme in your area. Some know me as Tosh, but there's a group of people globally who know La Femme, and they're constantly like, yo, when is La Femme going to be in my area? So it is in the queue, and we are working on some things. By the time we get to In My Zone, because that record I love so much, we may even have to do a remix. We may have to put something special together in that regard because it's just such a powerful record. And it speaks a lot to who Arie is and just where he is. And, right now we're simmering, but when we start bubbling, it's going to be a different conversation. And I think by then people will really understand what this movement is and what our purpose is and what we're doing.
Yeah. We feel the same way at According to Hip Hop.
Definitely.
Right. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So when are we going to expect the second part? Was it the 14th? We're getting the next video?
The 18th.
The 18th, okay.
Yeah, the 18th, the next video will be released. But, of course, we got to share it with you guys first. So I will make sure that happens so that you guys can have it and sit with it. And by the time we come back together again, we'll be having some really, really amazing conversations around what Arie is doing in Bali and his love for the Balinese people. I think that that's also something that'll be very easily seen. And there you go. There's a community that Arie is engulfed in that really, really understands what it is to truly live in unity and in unison. Mm-hmm. And so that's a lot of what we're going to be sharing in the There You Go video. And he's showing that because it's a very agricultural heavy video. He really, really takes a deep dive into Bali and what's going on in Bali and the scene of Bali, that Bali scene, because there is a group of Black and Bali people, and he is a part of that group. So there's a handful selected people in Bali that are all there just doing really amazing work. And so that's why he loves shooting his videos there. And I'm sure you guys are going to really, really get that when you see it. And hopefully it inspires some people to maybe go to Bali, right?
That's dope.
Yeah, step out of your comfort zone.
Hey, I be telling people all the time, if you can have a passport and you can use a passport, go.
Get out.
Definitely.
Get out of there.
Get out.
Get the fuck out of there.
Right. Right.
Well, we look forward to seeing it,
it's
definitely.
It's crazy out here.
It's beautiful land out there. The landscape's
It is.
Beautiful, yes.
And
The land's beautiful.
And Arie, I would love to hear you, like, next time we speak to, like, your travel more and your time in Bali more.
I will.
always speak to our people about how travel has changed my life and my perspective. And I think a lot of the things that hold us back here in America is because a lot of us, because of the socioeconomic situations we've been placed in, don't see anything past America or a few Caribbean islands or Mexico. And I think just us seeing the world and sharing information is very important and prevalent, especially in times like these.
I agree 1,000%, and I would love to touch more on that regardless. Whenever it's so necessary. I don't even know how to explain how it changed my life. But you just hear. I find myself talking like everybody else who traveled. Like when I traveled, it changed everything. Right? Everything. Right? It's like that part.
It changed everything. That part. Right.
You know. So like.
And so even the system, the prison industrial complex system that's designed here to give us felonies, that's about not exposing us to culture and the things that we need to see that's going to really cultivate us as a people. But that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes, that part.
Definitely. All right. Well, yeah, we look forward to having you guys come back, and I appreciate y'all coming through and dropping this big shot video. Like, this is... Yeah, we'll definitely get this on the platform right before we get that second part coming, and then just have it all synced up for the people so they can see it in synchronization.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for having us.
Of course.
Appreciate it.
No, peace to y'all. Both of y'all enjoy Arie, enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Right. Whatever time zones we're in, you know.
I'm about to say, my friend, enjoy that West Coast lockdown in LA. All the clear skies and nothing to do and nowhere to go.
Well, good thing freedom's on the inside and not on the outside, guys.
Tell them.
Definitely.
Tell them.
That part too.
All right. Well, we'll talk to y'all next time, guys. Appreciate
all right, guys,
it.
Thanks.
All
right. All day.
I appreciate y'all. Love.
Yep.
Love.
Yo, that video was dope, man. The video was super dope.
Arie and Tosh, like the stuff that they're putting together, I mean, it's it's rooted in a lot of what, we want our socioeconomics to be, a lot of what we want our culture to be. Arie is nice, visual aids are dope. They're hitting all the marks. Like, they check all the boxes, Micah. I mean, they check all the boxes.
Man, I was sitting there looking at, like, the video, like, dude was putting all that together, like, because he produces and, yeah.
Co-production, writing, video editing, engineering.
Insane.
That's what I mean. Like, ain't too many times. How many rap artists can you say, like, you can flip on the back and, like I said, it's like on some Prince or like Stevie Wonder shit where it's like produced, composed, arranged, written.
Well, that's kind of not how hip hop rocks. It's never really. Well, you know what? I will say this in the beginning.
Travis Scott.
Yeah. But Travis has a lot of help on production. But you could tell that Travis.
I mean, everybody's. Stevie and Prince had a lot of help. I'm the biggest Prince fan, and I just gave credence to the fact that most of his big hits were involved when he had the Revolution.
Well, before we get into that conversation,
particularly as songwriters and musicians.
Andre wants to know what we think about Royce 5'9's top 5 MCs pick. Did you see that? When Fat Joe asked him about his top 5?
I know Black Thought's on there and M is on there, right?
That's true. Hold on, let me try to share my
Who are
screen.
the other three? Look, who are the other three?
I'm going to share my screen real quick.
I already know
to see
him
how
and
this
Potter
works.
on there. Because I already know how Royce think about that shit.
Let's see. This is what Royce had to say. Let me get the volume going.
He's not gonna have Big J and Nas, but he's gonna have one of the three. Probably Big.
Look, here he is. Hold on. You hear this?
My top 5 MCs: Jay-Z, Biggie, Big L, Eminem, Black Thought.
L.
My top 5 rapper of all times is Tupac. I don't think nobody can be compared to him. So,
That part. That part.
Nah.
That part over again until it's done.
Oh, my bad.
You hear what he said?
He said
But
what?
nobody will be that guy, man. Yep.
Who's that?
Nobody will ever be that guy though. Pac. Nobody will ever be that guy though. You hear what he said? It's like the Pac,
Oh, what is going on? All right, my bad. Has technical difficulties going on. Yeah, I mean, all right. Well, this is the thing. People don't want
I mean,
to.
L would be a surprise choice, but it shouldn't be too surprising. In
No, he didn't say
1994,
LL. He
Big L.
said Big L. He said Big L. His five
No,
was
But I mean, okay, people don't understand this. In 1994, Big L is a better lyricist than Jay-Z and Biggie.
what?
And that's a fact. Go listen to
I
Lifestyles of the
disagree.
Poor and Dangerous. Jay-Z's actually on Lifestyle of the Poor and Dangerous. He
He
don't
is.
sound as dope as L on The Graveyard. I believe, The
Biggie's
Graveyard.
better than those guys at that point. In
No, I said
'94,
lyrically.
Biggie's. Okay.
Biggie was a better song maker than Big L in '94. He wasn't a better lyricist. Big L was a monster.
Well, it doesn't really
Slick like
surprise
Kane.
me when
He-
you talk
he was
about.
he was slick like Kane with his bars. That's how nice L was. He was slick like Kane with his bars. Like he was that kind of nice. Yeah.
You know what? It
He was
really
special.
that top five really doesn't surprise me from a Detroit MC because Detroit MCs kind of look they're punchline heavy, and
Okay. I want to say something though. They're punchline heavy. Detroit MCs love Pac more than they love all those other guys.
well, he said Pac is his favorite rapper. He didn't even put
That's
Pac
why I
in
mean,
the
Pac-
MC
up in the
category.
D, man, Pac is their favorite. Like they love the bars and the lyricists, but Pac is that dude up there.
You said something earlier. I wanted to get back to. You said that the two best Detroit MCs at the end of, I guess, that cipher. In my opinion,
Royce and Eminem are the two best MCs. to
in
ever
my
come out of Detroit.
opinion, the best MC out of Detroit is Elzhi. But
No.
that's my
No,
opinion.
he's not that. Mike, how
Elzhi's
can
a
you say
better
that
lyricist. Elzhi's a better lyricist. By your Big L, argument, Elzhi is the best lyricist to ever come out of the city of Detroit. In my
He's not better than Royce or Mike.
No, you know what? Him and Royce, that's close. I've heard him and Royce on the same song many a times. He's out rap Royce.
I mean, Royce has out rapped M, but he's not better than M.
Royce is better than him.
No, he's not, Mike.
Why is he not?
I mean, I get.
Why is he not?
People who feel that way, I get what you're saying. It's not true.
Why is he not?
But
We've heard Royce come
he's
with.
just more relatable. He's just more relatable, Mike. He's not better.
Why is Royce
There's a reason,
not better than
hold on,
Eminem?
There's a reason M's closing out the song on the Detroit.
We
Cypher
know
record,
why
not Royce.
M's
There's a
closing out
reason when
the song.
Slaughterhouse does a cipher on the BET rap hip hop or whatever the hell it is now. There's a reason that even when they do a cipher and Royce gets his turn, there's a reason there's a reason
Because
M's closing this
Eminem
deal, Mike.
owns.
Like I know how you feel.
He
There's
owns the
I'm
building.
not the
Of
biggest
course
fan
he
in the world, but
closes. Eminem closes because he owns the building. Eminem closed on the Big Sean, like what we said before. You got a 10-minute long song, and people are waiting for Eminem's verse, so you want them to listen to the end. They're
There's
waiting
a
for Eminem's
reason
verse
they're waiting
because
for
he
him, Mike. Mike,
is
Mike,
one
how
of the
about
most
this?
famous
What about-
artists
Mike,
of all
Mike,
time. He's
Mike,
not
what
better
if-
than
Mike,
Royce. He's not.
Mike, how about this, Mike? I don't know too many guys in the history of rap that can be in a cipher where Most Def is going before them and Black Thought is going after them, and it's not affecting them at all in the perform.
Come on,
Like,
man.
he's
That's
that.
that.
No, Mike. He's that kind of nice. Like, listen to what I just said. He is in a cipher, and Most Def is before him, and Black Thought is after him, and it's not a problem about him stepping in and getting the job done, Mike.
It's that
Like, come
it's that
on,
Showtime
dude. Like,
at the
come
Apollo.
on.
It's that Showtime at the Apollo stuff, man. What did he really say? It's like Dalai Lama, Holly's mama, nigga, please. He was the weakest of the three, but because he pulls that Showtime at the Apollo shit, it's like it's a highlight. I mean, it is what it is.
I mean, Mike, I want you to understand that he does things lyrically on the mic, like in terms of how he literally, like, it's almost like, you know how when you hike, you have those little grapples? Like, he can grapple like this on the beat, Mike, in a way that, like, only guys like Big Pun and Cool G Rap can. Like he's special like that when he gets into that zone. So I'm hear what you're saying. Understand, like very few guys in the history of rap can do that. Like Big can't do that, Pac can't do that, Jay can't do that, Nas can't do that.
You know
Maybe
why?
Young Nas can do that.
You know why?
But that's only because Young Nas sounded like Cool G rap, Mike.
You know why? Because he's not expected to rap on beat. That's another advantage he has. He's not expected to rap on beat. He could throw words anywhere.
Let me tell you something.
It's not
On
about
the
him
Slim
being
Shady
in pocket.
LP, on his first album, on his first LP, his timing is actually an issue because of how he's putting it together. But he had that mastered by the Marshall Mathers LP, and it hasn't been an issue since, really. Because what he's really doing sometimes is he's riding the snare instead of the bass line, and we as black people just ain't used to that.
His rhythm be off, man. I mean, you know, I
hear what you're saying, Mike, but he be rhyming to the snare sometimes. He do.
He must be patting his feet in the studio or something, man.
No, Mike, he just rhyming to the snare, Mike. He just rhyming to the snare. He white. It's different. He rhyming to the snare. It's just like this. Like, how about this, Mike? Like, how about this? What he's really doing sometimes, it's like you can't qualify it because when you're doing what he's doing, actually, it's so hard to pull that off with great results. It's like making a number one hit record without a bass line. Do you know in the history of music, the first time a song went number one without a bass line?
Doves Cry.
Right.
I mean,
so it literally, Mike, it took about 100 years of music before somebody made a number one hit record without a bass line. He's not always rapping to the bass line. It's hard to pull off what he's pulling off, and that's why I'm saying he's better. His degree of difficulty is higher than Royce's.
Is it?
Yeah. Infinitely. Mike,
oh my
he's the white
God.
boy in the room. Oh, Mike, he's always going to be the white boy in the room with all the black guys who can rap. That's what I'm saying.
He's not just
standing next to Most Def and Black Thought. He's standing next to Most Def and Black Thought, Mike. It don't get no blacker than that. And he's in there rhyming. And Mike, and
are we going to go
nice
there?
No, Mike.
Are we going to go there?
Mike, he's so nice. Listen to what I'm saying. He's so nice that they're okay with him being in there. And when you see him sitting in that room, you say to yourself, well, like, yeah, kind of deserves to be there because he kind of performs on the lyrical level that they do. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, you know what? Listen, I would say that I think Eminem's nice.
I'm not saying he's
better.
But
he's not on, to me, he's not on most Black Thought's lyrical level. And I do appreciate Royce having Black Thought in his 5. But what I will say, I think that
he said Black Thought's rhyme books should be sent to the Smithsonian. He loves Thought.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's levels to this. You remember when the Slim Shady LP came out, right? In 99? No, like 99? So, I mean, look.
99, yeah.
Are you telling me that we listened to the Black Star album and the Black on Both Sides and songs like Miss Fat Booty, and we were like, yo, this guy who my name is on this nigga's level. Let's be real. Like, come on, man. And that's even with Scary Movie in effect. That's with any man. Because even the raucous stuff, most was the guy.
Mike, absolutely. No, Mike, you're absolutely right, except for one thing. You're talking about the Marshall Mathers. You're talking about, hold on, which one are you talking about? What's the first one? The Slim Shady LP, right? You're talking about the first album. I'm talking about that dude that showed up on the second album. That dude.
I actually think he was better. I think he was better on Slim Shady LP. I'm Slim Shady, yes, I'm the real Shady. You're telling me that one's better than the Slim Shady LP?
Yes. Infinitely.
No.
Infinitely, Mike.
I mean, because he didn't have moments on the Marshall Mathers LP. On the Marshall Mathers LP, he didn't have.
We're talking about Detroit shit. Like
he didn't have role model moments.
Out of Detroit, Mike.
He didn't have role model moments on the Marshall Mathers LP. It's like, I'm cancerous. So if you did, she wouldn't want to answer this. She responded back with.
MC to ever, Mike, you think Eminem's the third best MC to ever come out of Detroit? Is that what you're telling me?
That's yeah. That's where I'm at with I mean,
Mike, I can't even.
I'm saying he is. I mean, it's no
I need more
disrespect.
wine, Mike. That's some bull.
We talking about Elzai and we talking about
I'm
Royce.
not even I'm not even his biggest fan, Mike. But I mean, damn.
I mean, I think
Damn,
Elzai's a better MC than them both, and I think Royce is better than Eminem.
I think you're bugging.
Yeah,
You're bugging.
Elzai's ridiculous, man. Elzai's ridiculous.
No. No, he's nice.
No.
I mean, if you want to put him third, how about this, Mike? If you wanted to put Elzai third, behind him and behind Royce, I'm okay with that if you want to put him ahead of everybody else that ever came out of Detroit. But I am not okay with him being ahead of Royce and Eminem on any level.
I've heard him and
Like
Royce
any.
on many songs. I've heard him and Fonte on many songs. Eminem runs from guys like Elzai. He won't be on a song with Elzai, but
How are you gonna say M runs from guys when you think Jay is the best ever and he literally is on Jay's second best album and Jay's maybe overall best performance as an MC? Like, how can you say that? And that's Jay at his peak. That's not like average Jay. That's not before he's hot Jay. After he's hot Jay, he went in there with peak Jay.
You talking about when
How
Jay
can you say
rapped
he's
over
right?
his? You want to talk about when Jay rapped over his beat? Oh yeah, M didn't rhyme on the Just Blaze or Kanye beat to rap on the song with Jay, did he? He used the beat that he already made, right? Come on, man, it's not the same thing. We talk about running from producers. No. Let's dial this back. Let's dial this back.
Both of them on the original version.
No,
But
if we want to
is
talk
Royce
about
better than Jay or M, no, he sounds better on Renegade than both of them. That doesn't mean he's better. That's what I'm saying. Just because Elzai sounds better on some tracks where Royce don't make him better than Royce. Royce sounds better than Eminem and Jay-Z on Renegade, and I don't have it confused.
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I think Royce is better than M, but I think M sounded better on Renegade. I'm not even gonna front. M killed Renegade. I can't front on that.
Did Royce sound better than Jay?
Yeah, he did. Yeah. But Royce didn't sound better than Eminem on that.
All right.
And Eminem.
You can sound better than somebody over the same beat and not be better than them, though.
I think when Eminem is in his pocket, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's great at it. But I think overall, you know, there's so many, you know, boing, 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 stuff like that. Like, you know, those are points off, man. It's what it is for me. And, you know, I don't see Elzai making no shit like that. And I know if Elzai did, niggas would nail him to the cross for it. But, you know, that's just how I look at it. And let's not act like M ain't made a decent album in 18 years. I mean, come on, man. Let's keep it real, man.
Wow, Mike.
Shit.
Wow.
I mean, we just got to be honest.
This album at all? You didn't think there were no joints on this album at all?
Can you name any songs from this album?
I haven't listened to it in a minute. The thought, hold on, how about this, Mike? You know what I was just thinking? The thought that comes to my mind, and I can't think of the name of it, but it has Black Thought and Royce on it, and I'm thinking like, well, he deserves to be rhyming next to them.
Andre Askew says, I've been in the hip hop shop back in the days, and I seen them both freestyle, and I know M, but I like technically the best rapper in Detroit. Okay. Well, if Detroit says Eminem's the best rapper in Detroit, that's what it is, you know. I think Elzai lyrically is super impressive.
Hold on.
Best album.
Mike, how about this?
He redid Illmatic.
Mike, I'm going to give you some perspective. You saying Elzai is better than Eminem is like saying Killer Mike is better than 3 Stacks down here.
Honestly, man.
Yes, that's what you're saying, essentially. That's what you're saying. Like put your Atlanta hat on. Like, that's what you're saying. You're saying Killer Mike's better than 3 Stacks when you're saying Elzai's better than Eminem. Nobody down in the A is going to say that, even though everybody knows Killer Mike is the shit.
I don't know if that's a comparable thing. I think that,
no,
honestly, we can't compare Andre to many people because he doesn't have any solo works. I thought you were going to say somebody like Sci-Hi.
Hold on,
I thought you were going to say Sci-Hi.
Hold on. Who's the best MC to ever come out of Atlanta, Mike?
Andre says, but Elzai is lyrically another level. I agree. Anyway, The
Lyrically,
best.
another level from Eminem and Royce the 5'9". Like, okay.
I mean,
like, I don't know what you...
listen, man. No disrespect to Royce,
Hold
because
on,
I
hold
think
on.
Royce is super nice.
Mike, who's the best MC in the history of Atlanta?
I would say that the work that Andre has done on Outkast albums has been the most impressive lyrical performance. But if someone said that T.I. as an individual is the best MC in Atlanta based on his work as an individual, I wouldn't be mad at that. I mean, because we have to qualify things with Andre, right? He ain't got no solo work. He has no solo work. We can't point to one song where Andre has 3 rap verses, and that's odd.
Mike.
That's not something we could normally do in hip hop.
Mike.
I mean, I'm just saying.
I love T.I. Love Big Boy. I love Killer Mike. None of them are better than Andre 3000, even with their catalogs, even with all their stellar verses. That's how great he is. That's what I'm trying to tell you about what it is for M in Detroit. It's like, no. Those other guys are great. If you want to tell me those guys, like, yeah. But in reality, what Tribe Called Quest say, Mike? Check the rhyme, Mike.
You know what I
you
thought
can't
you were
go
gonna
sit up
say?
here and you can't, Mike. Go put Elzai's 10 best rhymes up against M's 10 best rhymes, and you're gonna find out who's next level, Mike. And it's not gonna be Elzai.
You know what I thought you were gonna say?
Go, Mike. I love Tip as much as anybody down here can love Tip. I think that he's one of the 5 best MCs that ever came out of the South, but he's the second best MC that ever came out of Atlanta.
Second best. You know what I thought you were gonna say?
That kind of monster. M is like, there are some guys, Mike, where they're just special in a way, in a manner that they're like, all that factual talking and rhetoric doesn't qualify. Because I'm gonna tell you what, at the end of the day, if you put Elzai on the other side of the room from Eminem and told Eminem that other cats in Detroit was saying that Elzai was next level guest next to Eminem, Mike, no.
Elzai would out-rap Eminem.
No, he wouldn't.
If they were in the same space, same place. Now, I ain't gonna front. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. I'm with you on that one. If T.I. and Andre were in the same space, no, Andre would out-rap T.I. But I don't look at Eminem like you do, obviously. I mean, Elzai's lyrically better than dude. I mean, it is what it is. Now, him and Royce are real comparable, and I kind of give Royce the edge more so because of the music that Royce has made. But if we talking about straight up lyrics, man, I'm going with Elzai all day. He's the best I ever heard from Detroit. Now, I thought you were going to say that's like comparing Sci-Hi to Ludacris or something, right? Now, I feel you on that. Luda got the hits, got the catalog, but who lyrically do you think will come out on top bar for bar, Sci-Hi or Luda? I think that's more comparable to what we're talking about here.
No, that's not. I mean, that's Sci-Hi, isn't it? That's Sci-Hi.
That's how I feel about Elzai and him.
Exactly I don't like that comparison
at
all.
Exactly
You're comparing Eminem to Ludacris lyrically?
Yeah.
Really?
What's wrong with that?
That's what we doing?
What's wrong with that?
You got Eminem on the same level lyrically, and you're asking me, like, what's going on with me? Like,
yeah, Luda nice.
Is that what you think? So hold on.
That's where I put it.
I think Luda nice. I think Luda nice too, but like, I don't think you understand, Mike. Eminem can rhyme next to Black Thought and Mos Def and Royce consistently on a lyrical level. Luda? You think Luda can do that?
Is M really doing that though? He's on these songs, but is it really? I don't.
I'm done. No, I'm done.
I'm sorry, I just don't see him elite like that. It's just a bunch of
He came in the game like this. Oh, Mike, he came in the game spitting with these guys on the sound bomb, and Mike.
He was the other guy on those. For real.
Mike, those guys will tell you that guy's a problem, Mike. Okay.
Well,
I don't know. You got me fighting for M up here tonight. Like, I'm a big Eminem fan. I'm not. I just like I know what I hear.
The one man on the planet that'll jump off of the Grand Canyon, hop out of the Grand Dam, and land at a handstand. Yeah, I mean, I like him. I love the
Several
sauce.
different levels. The devil worship and horses' heads. You know, like
Some of his better work.
Like, that's some nasty Nas, like Biggie type shit when he's talking like that. That's high level.
Hey, don't compare Eminem to Nas. Come on, man. All right.
There's severed. Hold on. What I'm saying is there's several different levels. Hold on. What did he say? There's several different levels to devil worship and horses' heads. That's the same thing. Like when I was 12, I went to hell for snuffing Jesus. It's that same shock therapy bar style. So like, yeah,
he had a moment, man, and I like that era Eminem a lot more than this rough, raspy voice.
Mike, I like 94 to 96 Nas more than I like anybody else in history. I'm not getting that guy again, but I'm clear on how great that guy was. Like,
you know what? I think Eminem really at his best was around 2002, right before the Eminem show, the Renegade.
Marshall Mathers LP time to Eminem show, that period, yes.
I personally feel like the Eminem show is his best album, hands down. And it's not even close.
I'm not going to argue with you about that. I know a lot of people that feel that way. I feel like the Marshall Mathers LP is his best lyrical performance. He's a lyricist to me, and so I lean on that. The Eminem show is probably better put together than the Marshall Mathers LP. It's more of a groove.
What?
Superman's the shit.
What did you think? What did you think was so lyrical about the Marshall Mathers LP? I mean, I'm interested.
Everything.
Don't say
like
that.
Everything.
Don't say that. Because when people say that, it means like nothing. No, give me some moments, please.
I mean, the highlight moment is The Way I Am. That is the highlight.
Lyrically?
That to me is his seminal moment of his career. Yeah,
Lyrically?
That's his seminal moment. Because no. Because it's the white boy explaining what it's like to be the white boy in rap on a lyrical level. But he made it into a single, but it's kind of dark and kind of moody. That's a groove you're never going to find somebody really find again. So there's something about that that's very seminal. So if you want to talk about what stands out in my album, to me about that album, that is the record, because it was, how about this? It was him before he learned how to put the albums together all the way. But he still is like, you know, he's jaded. He's dealing with success. It's a very complex record. It's very complex rhyme schemes. The rhyme scheme is different on every 16 bars on that song, Mike. It's hard to do that on a rap single.
Oh, it's that technical stuff, man. I don't know, man. I just don't feel the technical shit. Like, I just like feeling my hip-hop. I don't want to have to count syllables and stuff.
You can't love Black Thought and say that. But Black Thought... Because Black Thought is like the technical rappers.
He's just nice. Like, I don't listen to You Got Me and feel like.
Thought, but he's nice. But Thought gets you. Like Mike. Thought gets people with his technicality. Like, you don't understand half the shit Thought is saying. Not you, but the average cat don't understand half the shit Thought is saying. Packing more avocado toast than Salvador Dali. Mike, I'm a Salvador Dali fan. You would have to actually know that that's something that Salvador Dali ate and study Salvador Dali the way that I have to know what the fuck Black Thought.
But that's lyrics. That's lyrics. I'm with that. That's some Ghostface shit. But Eminem is about patterns. And...
Hold on. Mike, when he on, like, I'm just going through the Making of a Murderer verse, Mike. How many people know who Cecil B. DeMille is?
Yeah, yeah.
Like, come on, Mike. Like, Thought spits that shit that people don't understand either, but you love him more because his name is Black Thought and he's speaking some black shit. Eminem does the same thing. He's just white.
It's not about the white, because I like Mac Miller a lot. R.I.P. to Mac Miller. I listen to Mac stuff.
I mean, Mike.
And Mac was rapping over beats.
I'm an ocean without a coast going back to Cali. Like, when Thought says it is hot, if M says it is not hot, that's what you tell him.
Andre says that his favorite Eminem album is the Slim Shady LP. Yeah, I mean, I personally like the Slim Shady LP probably because of the feel, but I will say that the Eminem Show is probably his best album to me. But on the Marshall Mathers LP, I thought lyrically, or as far as like his verses on the mic, I liked him on Amityville. I liked the way he sounded on Amityville. I liked the way he delivered it. I liked him on the song Marshall Mathers. I just didn't like those songs like I Never Knew and all those records. Like, I'm gonna be honest,
didn't like
man.
that?
I ain't like those. Or
No,
I'm gonna kill you.
No.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. You're not about to get. You want to know what, Mike? I was gonna let you get away with it. I'm not. No, Kill You is dope. Stan is dope.
Stan's
Who
dope.
Knew the Way I Am? Hold on. Amityville, Bitch Please 2, Kim. Yes, Mike. Yes.
You
like,
skipping
no,
around. I
his
thought
ass
you were
off on
going
this
in
album.
order for
Like
me.
you had me questioning myself again. I had to go pull the Slim Shady LP back up. I mean, the Marshall Mathers LP back up. No, Mike. Kill You, Stan, Who Knew the Way I Am? Amityville, Bitch Please 2, Kill Kim. Like, no, Mike. Yeah, no, he rapping his ass off on this album, Mike. Like, yeah, you
Kim?
You tripping.
Hold on.
You don't like Kim?
Nah, I didn't like him. Hold on one second. Let me go through it real quick because you was skipping.
Let me talk about something. Like, this is going way too far.
How did we even get on this? Okay, so
Carmen 3, Mike. Changing the subject. You heard Carmen 3, Mike? What you think of Davies Carmen 3?
I need to catch up on it. Let me.
I was riding with the Yardies on the south side. I played Alfredo for them. They put me on the Davies Karma 3, and they put me on the Money Man.
I've heard a little bit of Karma 3, and from what I've heard, it's dope.
It is dope. Mike, I've said this a lot of times this year. This is like a year where artists are making the best projects of this career. Like Gibbs, West Side Gun, Big Sean, Gunna. Like I can go down the list. A lot of cats have made the best album of their career this year. Davies Karma 3 is the best album of his career. It's been Mike. This album.
The Locks might have made the best album of their career. That's crazy.
The Locks. That's crazy.
Yeah.
The Locks. A lot of people still think 2018 is better, but 2018 is only better because of these 3 albums that we keep bringing up. That's Astroworld, Daytona, and of course Nip's Victory Lap.
Yeah.
But if you look at the consistency, Mike, I've actually listened to about 10 to 12 projects this year that I can honestly say that I've thoroughly enjoyed that are really dope. And outside of King's Disease, Pray for Paris, and Alfredo, I don't know how our top 10 is going to look at the end of the year. That's how great this year has been. Those are the only 3 albums that I know that at the end of the year are going to be 3 of the best 10 albums. And Gunna's beats are too hard.
Andre wants to know, what do we think of Griselda's girl, Amani Caesar? I like Amani Caesar.
You already know how we feel about Caesar. Yeah.
I loved her on that West Side Gun project, man.
Mike, how long have I literally not been talking to you about Armani for like 2-3 months now?
Yeah, man. And, she gives me those Foxy Brown in the 90s vibes. Like, we was talking about that.
Mike.
Where, like, she rhyming over hardcore beats in ways that, man, I mean, we haven't seen in a minute. You leaving out?
No, Mike, Power Source.
Oh, okay, cool. Didn't know what was going on.
Right.
Yo, but let me ask you this.
I know we're wrapping up anyway.
Yeah, we are wrapping up. I wanted to ask you, what are you rating Big Sean's Detroit 2 album out of 5?
Out of 5? It's hard for me not to give it 4 right now.
It's a solid 4.
I think it's a little too long. There's about 2 or 3 tracks that could have been taken off. I think all the skits are important because of the people that are on there and the things that they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like maybe if it would have been maybe 18 tracks, 15 songs, 3 skits, much better, much more clear as a top 5 album. I would put it immediately just thinking on hearing it a couple times today. I would still go Pray for Paris, Alfredo, King's Disease, Fly God 2, and then I would put it right. And then I would go to Gunna's album, and then I would put it somewhere right there next to Gunna, The Locks.
Yeah.
This one.
You know what?
And Lil Baby's album too. So like, it's in the top 10. It's more like 5 to 8.
Based on what we said earlier too, man, I want to give this a couple of weeks to feel like if it, if it teeters off based on how many features is on it. I think that it's going to have replay value. It feels like that right now, but I mean, it just came out, so I don't know. But I do wish this, man. I wish that he wouldn't have given us the Nipsey song ahead of time, because the Nipsey song's a really good song. But I think if it would have been
about how the album sounds.
It would have been better if we would have heard that song when the album dropped, But We also have, speaking of Amani Caesar, we got Amani Caesar, we got Benny the Butcher, and we have Westside Gunn dropping his Shady debut album all this month. So,
Who made the sunshine?
yes, sir. So it's supposed to be a Griselda month,
Yeah.
and so we're gonna have a lot of other reviews,
He
man.
said if you love Pray for Paris, you're gonna love Who Made the Sunshine. You know how I already feel about Armani. Like, she reminds me of Foxy. Foxy was my favorite female MC growing up. The way that this Benny project is taking so long, Mike, is making me worried and excited. It's almost like they know how big it is too.
Mm-hmm.
And Conway's been pushing this back for a minute, so I'm expecting his best project in the last couple of years, actually. So we'll see what he do. And Hit Boy is on Conway's project too. That's what I mean about Hit Boy.
Hit Boy's
doing
producer of the
being
year. It's already done.
I've heard a couple of the beats. I think at least one track for certain that Hit Boy did for Conway, and I'm like, yeah, Hit Boy in his zone. He making stuff for the gangsters, the old gangsters, the Detroit players, Tim's for my hooligans in Brooklyn.
Well, next week, man, I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head what's gonna drop next week.
Next week is Conway for sure. I think
really?
From a King to a God drops next week.
Well,
so right now he's up. Well, I mean, if nothing else better drop, I'd love to talk about Conway. He's an MC's MC. Mike, he makes a lot of references. Let's end it with this. He makes a lot of references to like how he doesn't feel like he's been being considered as like a top 5 MC. If you look at him from the Reject 2 in 2015 up till now, I would probably put him in 5th.
I mean, honestly, man, I like Benny a lot.
I got Kendrick as MC, Kendrick, Cole, Pusha T. And after I go through those 3 guys, I can't name anybody necessarily better than Conway the last 5 years as an MC. Can you?
I mean, I like Benny a lot, but Conway is,
Benny's done. I mean, that's not fair to Conway, though. I get it that Benny may be like technically better and may have a higher ceiling, but look at Conway's work from 2015 to 2020.
I'm with you on that. Well, they
they
spotted Kendrick on the stoop,
like being top 5, like he deserves some top 5 consideration. And we'll see if he makes the album that's going to garner him the consideration. His little brother right now has made 2 of the 5 best albums this year. Oh, Fly God 2 is in there. That was the album I forgot. Fly God 2 is in there with like Sean's album and Gunner, Baby, The Locks.
Well, they spotted Kendrick out supposedly shooting a video. You think Kendrick dropping this year? Is that happening?
I think he is. Like I told you, man, I told you the only thing that I thought was going to keep Pray for Paris being the album of the year is if Kendrick drops an album that's better than Damn. Right now, I feel like that's holding up. I know a lot of people have talked about Alfredo and King's Disease as album of the year. I have them 2 and 3.